What's up guys, LyonLife here and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the global release of Atelier Resleriana, Forgotten Alchemy, and the Polar Night Liberator. I'm really excited to show you guys this finally, even though we kind of already have some videos on the channel, but those are going to go away here probably soon, just because I really want to focus on just the global version of the game now that it's finally out for everyone to see. Now, this just released just the other day on the 25th, so if you haven't already started playing, don't worry, you can definitely jump in. It just released, and there's plenty of time to get caught up on the current content and to get powered up. Alright, so here we are on the main screen of the game. As you can see, UI pretty clean, pretty normal, nothing too crazy here. But like I said, guys, I want to make sure that I condense this as much as I possibly can. So we're going to kind of just go through a couple of different topics here, go through the main points of what I want to get off my chest, and kind of just go from there. So, of course, as like FG would say, a gacha game like this is only as good as the characters you can collect. So let's go ahead and jump on into the character screen here. First, we're going to take a look at everyone that I currently have. Now, this is just what I started with for the game. I haven't done any more pulling since the tutorial, and then I think I did one pull after that, I believe. After the first pulls that were given for free, I think I did one more after that. But again, if you're an Atelier fan, then you recognize a lot of these faces. It's pretty much all characters that we've always seen and loved over the years. My first I think I had a really good start. I had a similar start to my JP account as well too, with Raze and Ryza, and then of course I got Moo and Heathcliff, Keithgriff in my first initial pulls, and then the next pull after that I got Marie. Honestly, this is a really good start for me. I know all you Corneria stands will probably be like, no, you should have got her, could care less. It's fine, it's good, the account's still good for what it is. But we've got all of our characters here. Marie's a really good AoE breaker. Ryza, really good fire DPS to start with. Pretty much can carry, not to say carry per se, but a character you can use throughout the entirety of the game as far as all content goes. And Raze is a really good single target physical breaker as well too. Who uses the slash, who has the slash attribute attached to him, which a lot of enemies have a weakness towards. So it pretty much works out. It's pretty well rounded. Healing wise, we've got Miruru. She's got a party heal. If you get some Memorias and equips to attach to her, she can really put out some really good heals as well. Now, as far as characters go, of course, we have your typical, you can level them up. In this case, with Candy, you level them up a little bit, add some, though levels will go up, just like so, like that. As well as we have an awakening system here, which is where we're going to be using our character shards. We'll get into character shards here in a little bit, but you'll need these in order to rank up your character star rating. Unfortunately, with this game, it goes in like a half rating per increase, which is kind of annoying, but they got to gate you somehow, you know? So for every little increase you're going to get, starting at after the 3-star anyway, it gets to be halves only. So we get 3.5 to 4, 4.5 to 5, and so on and so forth. So we go up from there. Every character is going to be able to equip 4 accessories. In this case, 2 a weapon, piece of armor, an accessory, and then the last one, well, so they're going to call them accessories, but they're called Memorias in this game. It's kind of like an artifact, however, or whatever the equivalent is in other gacha games. But these will all going to give you some stat boosts and certain passives or buffs or whatever it might be. A lot of these are really good depending on what characters you want to use them from. You really want to look at these and see specifically what they're adding to the characters, because a lot of these are catered to certain roles, certain damage attributes, things like that. So you really want to look at these and figure out who you're putting them on for your characters, because a lot of the times they're for specific ones and they only benefit certain characters. So definitely be on the lookout for that too when you're putting on your Memorias. Below here we have the grow board. This is going to be your adding into the stats for every single character. So every increase you're gonna get, magic attack goes up, magic defense, HP, physical attack, etc. All these little small buffs are gonna go up. So you'll get this from your daily quest, which we'll go over here in a little bit. I'll go to a character here who I haven't done them for yet. So in this case, for Shalistera, let's go to like just her level increase. We'll use this material right here, which is going to be your yellow cores. This will increase her level cap. So currently, I think when you start the characters off, the beginning cap is level 10. This will give me 5 more levels, as you can see right here, and that's going to give her an increase to level 15 if I choose to level her up and buff her up. Same thing with this, and you'll go through, and there's stages. So let's just go ahead and unlock all of it, which love the quality of life here. They had these in the Japanese version, but now we have a multiple board unlock, which you can go all the way up as high as you possibly can with the materials that you have. But you can auto allocate it so that it automatically goes ahead and put in all the stats that you're wanting. and you increase the board up to about, I believe, 10 levels, if I'm not mistaken. But that's all the characters that I currently have. There's a lot more coming to the game. The one thing about this, and this is why I say this is like an Atelier fan dream, is because we have so many characters here now who we've never had 3D models for, we never had voices for, and this is like a crossover game in which characters that would have probably never met or never been in the same universe are now having interactions together. And I know that's really good for a lot of people who have certain favorites and characters they really love, and you can see them interacting together. Like, it's really is really magical in its own little way. But that's going to be it for the characters that you can collect. Next, I want to take you guys and take a look at what is the daily loop of the game, I would say, right? Most of your tried and true are your quest sections right here on the bottom right. These are going to be where you do all of your dailies. Under the training quest for Ryza, this is where you're going to get your EXP quests, your Memoria, item boosters. This is going to be your money quests, or coal in this case, orbs, which are going to be your what's the material that you need for your growth board. As we showed a minute ago, you'll need all the materials, and they're all separated by colors and attributes, and of course they've got these stages here as well too, so the higher you go, the more rewards you're going to get. Pieces here, as you can see, I've already hit the limit, but your pieces here are your character shards. You're going to unlock these as you go, and then the more levels you get up on the stages, you'll get more pieces for the characters that you use in battle, so that way you can work towards awakening those characters. Now, your material quests here, these are going to be where you do your dungeons and your score attacks. Now, we'll go talk about dungeons right now, because this is probably going to be one of the more controversial things for people, is that if you're familiar with the Atelier games, you're familiar with the fact that a big part of it has to do with exploration, getting your materials for your alchemy, etc., etc. Unfortunately, this is where we're going to be doing this. Your dungeons are where you're going to be getting a lot of your materials, as you can see here on the bottom. Each dungeon stage, you can see what you're able to get for completing each and every one. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the typical exploration that we're all used to. When you go into a dungeon, you're gonna have your party here. You can set up with 4 or 5 items once you get everything unlocked, your 5 characters, and you go ahead and start the dungeon here. You'll have the power level, of course, for what's recommended for you as well. So a lot of us are probably used to a open world if you've played some of the later modern games for exploration, or even like a side scroller, or even like a linear map to go run around and do your gathering. That is neither here nor there for this game. So gathering here is this side scroll simulator. You run around, you press forward, the character goes. Along the way, you'll see little sparkles like this, or an action command that you can click here, and this is going to be your gathering on the go. And then here and there, you'll get interactions. You'll get boss fights, or even regular fights like this one right here. Yeah, so go ahead and skip through that. I don't want, because we'll get to combat here in a little bit. So you do your fights along the way, you carry on, and then here and there, once in a while, you'll come to another action. If you've seen these, these symbols, you know what these are. This is going to be for the sickle, for example. So you get little cutscenes like this, depending on what character that you're using. Quick little animation there, and then you'll see on the side which materials you get, and on the top left over here, you'll see what are the current what do you want to call them, buffs or passives that are for this dungeon specifically. So crit rate up by 50%, stun skill power 30%, and weakness for skill powers is up by 30% as well. And you'll go through along the way, and like I said, you run around this map. It's just a side scroll simulator. You'll collect some materials here and there, fight some monsters, and at the end you'll get the what you've accumulated throughout the entirety of the dungeon. But that essentially is our quote-unquote exploration. And again, I know a lot of people aren't happy with that. I'm one of them. I wish this was a little bit different. I wish we had, even if it was like a linear map to run up and run around, I would have preferred that versus this just being on the rails and just running straight across. But it is what it is. What can you do? So next we're going to take a look at some combat for Atelier Resleriana. It works like your typical gacha game. We've got stage by stage. Each stage you have requirements you have to meet for a 3-star rating. You'll see them over here on the side, what's required in order to get all 3 stars, to get the maximum of your rewards as well. Over here you'll get what enemies you're going to be fighting, as well as the panels that you can see. Of course, you're going to get burst, you're going to get skill damage, debuff, and as well as a buff to your skill damage. So typical stuff that you're going to see in most other games, but this gives you a clear overview on one screen right there. So let's go ahead and hop on into combat, right? So for combat for this game, it works just like a regular, I would say, JRPG. You've got all your characters, they've got their own skills, but in the sense of not where they have multiple skills and abilities. As per most gacha games, your characters are probably only going to have maybe, let's say, 1 or 2 abilities and then an ultimate skill, and that's the same that it works here in this game. So we're on Resna right now. She's got a skill 1 we can use. She has her skill 2 as well, and then finally, when you unlock the burst, you'll see that on the bottom which characters are going to be getting their burst animations. It'll show up down here on the bottom area, so you can see in order to kind of plan out what skills and abilities you want to use as you play along. But we'll go ahead and use an ability here. We'll fight off this monster, and then we go on to the next. Now we have Ryza, and so as you can see now, Miruru, she's going to have her burst towards the end, as long as we kind of keep up the momentum and keep up what we're doing. So you'll see that come about here in a little bit once we get through. But like I said, pretty much standard combat animations. It's all just, you know, one of the other skills. You do your first skill, you get a boost to your next skill, and then so forth. You just kind of continue on until the battle ends. And as I said, long as you meet the battle conditions, you're going to be getting those 3 rewards and get the maximum of what you can possibly get. In this case, this is a really easy fight. I think I picked the easy mode anyway for this, so it's going to be done fairly quickly. But honestly, the animations are really good. I really love seeing these character models all in a party together. I love seeing them fight and what they can do. And this game really does have some really good ultimate animations. Not so much in the early game, but I would say mostly for a lot of the characters that come on down the line on the new banners, you'll get to see some really cool animations for them. But combat itself is, again, pretty standard, nothing too crazy. It's not doing anything that's, you know, revitalizing the gacha RPG genre by any means, but it's tried and true to what it is for most Atelier games. You get to use your crafting as well too in there. We didn't get a chance to in that fight, but that's also going to be available as well too. Now, there is also a tower mode, as most games typically do have. I haven't unlocked it yet. Don't hate me. I haven't gotten that far in the story. I've been kind of procrastinating a little bit, taking it slow and kind of just taking my time with getting my characters leveled up and everything. But there will be a third option for here with Roman. Whenever he comes into the story, you'll get unlocks for the tower, which works exactly the way you think. You'll go up floor by floor in the tower. It progressively gets harder, and you kind of just take it from there. Now, most games, when it comes to the gacha, they usually have some sort of pity or some sort of exchange system. What I love about the exchange system here in Atelier Resleriana is that when you go to the shop down here and you go to your wish medal section, you can purchase any characters that aren't limited, I'll say that are already in the game, that are in the permanent role for banners. And pretty much once you get to 150, which I can see right now I'm very far behind, I only have 22, but once you get to 150, if you just have a character you've been going for and you haven't been able to get them, you can easily just grab them here. Or it's better that, and I prefer this rather than some crazy pity, because sometimes even on that you might not get the 50-50, you might not even make it. So it's easier if you just, for me in my opinion, if you just give me the option to buy who I want. I love this in this game so much. So a lot of people who probably didn't get the best start that you wanted, you know, you can kind of just hold out with your gems, you know, spend as much as you can, pull as much as you're able to, and then once you get to the 150, if there's one character that you just really want, even if it's for like the meta of it all or just a character you really like, you can easily come pick them up here. And I think this is one of the better ways to go about it for exchange systems in a gacha game for sure. Above that here, as you pull, of course, and you get dupes of characters, you'll get more pieces and shards available for them. You don't get character shards specifically from the gacha, but you just get individual shards that you can use anywhere else. So in the exchange shop here, if there's just someone who you really want to get their star rating up to as quick as possible, without having to just only think about getting dupes on that character from the gacha, you can buy your shards here and you can purchase however many you need. It goes up as you purchase more in 25 intervals, so we'll get 25 here, and then afterwards it'll go up to I'm going to use it on Riser because I know I'm going to use her in a long term, but you'll go up, and as you can see now, it's going to cost me 2 pieces now versus just the 1 like it did before. So it does go up as you keep purchasing them, but this is a good way to go ahead and maybe you need just a little bit more and you aren't able to run your piece quest currently because it's not reset. You can definitely come here to get those just so you're able to get the characters that you want. So the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about is going to be the alchemy in this game. Alchemy is the tried and true thing, the main thing about these games. You know, we're all about alchemy and crafting up materials, crafting items and weapons, etc. The way they have done alchemy in this game does not work in any way or any capacity the way that it used to in the console titles of the Atelier games. It's been very much worked towards a gacha RNG system, which at times isn't bad, but it can cause a little bit of headache and turmoil if you don't really know how it works. So I'm gonna do the best that I can to kind of explain it to you guys, and if you need more information, there'll be some guides down below linked if you need it. So let's take a piece of equipment here, right? Let's say we're gonna make this armor, this noble tunic. This is where it becomes a little bit different. So every character that you have, or every character in the game, has a specific trait that they offer to alchemy. For example, for this tunic right here, the colors you want to, the gift colors you want to look at are either blue, red, or green, right? Every character, as you can see, has these tiles on them on the left and right hand side with a coordinating color on each one as well. Let's look at Shelestera first, right? So Shelestera, at the very top, you'll see here what her gift is towards making this item. This is the trait that she can possibly give, and I say possibly because at the end of the day, it's still going to be RNG. Possibly that she could give this item is going to be magic stun damage boost, and you can see when you click it, it'll give you a description of what it's going to be. So boost magic stun damage by 2 to 20%. Next character right over here, same thing, different ability that she's giving for damage, dealt damage boost, so boost skill damage in general by 2 to 15%. Now each character, because they have this left and right hand side with a different color, depending on which order you put them in, they'll give a different effect. So we'll put Shelestera, let's put her right here in front. We'll do magic stun damage, then you hit next, then we get the new list of characters, and you can use anyone, right? But you have better possibilities, a better chance of getting what you want by using a character that goes along with what the other side of this character is. So Shelestera, again, she's blue and yellow, so she'll start off with blue, you'll start with her. The next character, to get a better result or to possibly get a better chance at getting this effect, you want to use a character that has that same coordinating color. In this case, it's probably best to use either Resna or Tau in this case. Now for Resna, she's going to give boost magic skill damage 2 to 20%. This is going to be a good combo. If this tunic is going to a magic based damage character, then that's what you want to look for. You want to build your equipment and you want to build your weapons, etc., your accessories, all towards the characters that they're going to be going to. So you want to look at who you plan on making equipment for, what their stats are, what role do they play, what damage type are they slash, knuckle, pierce, whatever, etc. And you want to make and use your items and characters towards maximizing what that character can do, if possible. So in this case, like I said, this is going to go to a magic user between the stun damage and the magic boost damage. And lastly here, the next thing you're going to be doing is your items. These are what you're going to get from your dungeons, from your dailies, and running through story and such. You'll get a whole bunch of different items we can add to the craft. As you can see, I only have just the one. So right now, we have this plant right here. The plant itself is going to give me skill power 3 to 25%, which will go in hand with hopefully one of these two. So either way, say we don't get magic damage up, we're going to get skill power up, possibly. We have a chance to, depending on how it works, because again, it's all RNG. It also gives magic resistance up. As you can see, it reduced damage received from magic attacks by 1 to 5% as well. Once you select everything you want, you're going to go and hit start, and I'm going to skip through the animation because I don't really need to see that by any means, but there's different animations for if it's a really good craft or a bad craft, and you'll know when you see it. But we'll skip through and see what the results that we got. So we ended up making 2 of them at once, so that works out. This first one got the skill power up, so that came from the item that we got, and magic resistance. So this one got just the abilities that came from the item, not from Resna, not from Shelestera. This is the kind of the problem that personally that I have as well too is that it is random, but that's why you want to get your abilities and such close to exactly what you're wanting. That way you have a better chance at getting it. And of course there's going to be higher chances to get higher tiers of these. So this is like the gray bluish version of these. These are like the standards, so it's the lowest option possible, or the lowest rate possible. There's going to be different colors like blue or a purplish color, and that's a higher tier effect of this trait. So if this was blue, I believe it's like a light blue or a dark blue color, it might instead be boost skill power by 10% instead of 5%. So there's chances of that happening too. This next one here, we got the same exact thing. So we have two of the exact same traits on both of the equipments that we gave. So you want to gear this towards somebody who probably needs more magic resistance, because skill power up can go to anybody, right? So again, unfortunately it's RNG, but that's how the alchemy works. I wish it's a little bit different. And like I said, the problem is too is that it's geared towards the characters that you have. So every character gives different traits and abilities. If there's, of course, there's some that are better than others, i.e. like Corneria. People love her traits, but you know, if you don't have them, you kind of have to just make do with what you've got. And that's just, unfortunately, the way the alchemy works in this game here. And so with that, I believe that's kind of just a base overview of what the game offers right now. We could get into the story, we could as well too, but the story is great. There's no deny about that. I don't want to get into the story because I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to show any cutscenes to anybody. Story is great, story is fantastic, as is what's to be expected in any Atelier game. Stories are really, really beautiful, really well written, and this is no different in Atelier Resleriana. But overall, my thoughts and feelings are relatively the same. I've loved this game so much. As someone who recently in the last year or two just got into the Atelier series, this is so much fun, and I'm sure for you longtime fans, this is like a fever dream. The only reason I can see people really not liking this game is simply just for the gacha aspects. If you're not into gacha games, the gambling of it all, however you want to go about saying it. And I know that's not for everyone, but I feel like if you're an Atelier fan, at least give this game a shot. And if you're new to the series, maybe this will trigger you to want to go play some of the other titles. Long-term fan, this game is great. I definitely recommend everyone at least try it out, see how you feel about it, see, you know, it could be your thing. And again, if gachas aren't your thing, that's totally fine too. I get not wanting to play it just for that aspect. Then, you know, wait for the next console game. We're more than likely going to get one still. With the success of how good Ryza has been in the last couple of years, and even this game over in Japan is doing fairly decent as well too currently. So I don't see us not getting more Atelier games in the future. Lastly, what I want to go over though too before we close off is that they are doing an event right now, an event campaign for inviting people into the game. Here's my invite code if you want to play. As you can see, I haven't been posting it much. I just kind of kept it to myself. I had one friend that I told them to log into the game and play, and so they did that for me. But if you're just now starting, or if you've been skeptical and you want to get a head start on it, go ahead and put in my invite code. I'll put it in the description as well too, if you guys want to use that, just so we can all get some gems along the way and help you get some more pulls, and probably work towards getting those characters that you really, really want as well. And post yours in the comments as well. If you're someone that wants to get more invites, post in the comments as well too. Maybe you can find someone else who can add in your code, but at least this way we can kind of all work towards one goal together if you'd like. As well as we do have a Discord as well too, guys. I'll have that down below if you want to join. I do have an Atelier Resleriana section. You can grab the role, post your gacha pull, show off, ask for any advice. I've got guides in the channels as well too. Links to those will be there if you're just having some issues. I'm always down to help out as much as I possibly can when I have some free time. So, but without further ado, Atelier Resleriana is fantastic. It is a wonderful game. Again, an Atelier fan's dream and a fever dream altogether. And it's such a good time. It's very, very lighthearted. It's awesome. But that's gonna be it for me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below, do the thing for the algorithm so we can get this going around. Again, this is a game that's probably gonna be my main game on the channel here. So if you want to see some more Atelier Resleriana content from me, definitely go ahead and hit those buttons for me. I really, really appreciate it. But that's it for me, guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.